This is Larry Jordan, the host of the Digital Production Buzz. The following interview is an excerpt from a recent program. To hear the entire program, visit digitalproductionbuzz.com. Carlos Grijalva and Rob Tharp are co-founders of Grijalva Films, a full-fledged San Diego-based production house. They specialize in aerial cinematography and unique camera motion using drones. They started their self-directed production company right out of high school and continue to grow their business throughout the greater Southern California area. Hello, Rob and Carlos. Welcome back.
Hello, hello. How are you?
Well, we're talking to you and excited about it, so good to have you with us again.
Thank you.
Rob, I want to start with you. We first spoke with you and Carlos about drones last September. What projects have you worked on since then?
We've been working on a lot of lifestyle real estate videos, and also some promotional commercial films that utilize drones as a tool to be able to enhance the production value and a different perspective to tell the story.
Is it safe to say that all your projects involve drone work?
A good amount, yes. And of course, some are on the ground, some in the air, so yes.
Well, before drones, what did you use? You didn't use helicopters, right? Or did you?
Yeah, we got into it right as the drone market was emerging a couple years ago, when the first gimbalized devices for stabilized footage came about. So we were kind of, at the forefront and kind of the pioneering age of it. So everything's still very new.
Usually when you pioneer stuff, everything goes wrong. Or did everything go right when you were pioneering all this?
Things actually went pretty well. So,
One incident, but that's about it.
Yeah.
Let us hope that there are no more incidents.
Drone clashing into a client.
Fortunately, not on a client job.
What kind of drones do you fly?
For the majority, we're a big fan of DJI products. So, there's the Phantom 3, the Inspire 1. For a lot of our projects, from a safety standpoint, the Phantom 3 has been a phenomenal choice due to its size, the form factor, and then the results of the footage of what you are able to obtain are astounding. So, Phantom is our go-to.
Does the type of drone you fly make a difference in the image you can get?
It depends. Normally, with the Phantom 3, it's full 4K. The ultra high definition and the actual full 4K. So what you're getting is astounding. They just came out with the Inspire X5R camera, so that actually shoots RAW. So there's different cameras that you can put on, and of course on larger platforms like the FreeFly Alta with Movi, you're able to fly a Red Epic or a Phantom Flex or things like, of that nature. So, depending on the budget of the production, we'll bring in different tools to be able to tell the story.
What cameras do you normally use?
So like I said, the majority of our projects, we'd actually fly the Phantom 3.
And so Phantom 3 has, for those who don't know the drones, it has its own camera?
Yeah, so essentially it's proprietary gimbal and camera,
Okay.
and basically the same device.
Yeah,
So,
it's not really about the drone itself. It's about how you frame the shot, how you edit it, how you color it, the whole thing.
Yeah.
It's not really the equipment. It's more of the talent behind the equipment most of the time, but the equipment's still pretty fun.
When you're flying a drone, I want to just focus on the drone photography, because you're absolutely right. Every piece of video is enhanced by the editing and the color correction, whether it's on a drone or not. But are you finding that some drone shots work better than others? Stuff where there's in the foreground and you're moving over it, or you're low going high, or always high? Is there particularly dramatic shots that you tend to use more because they are more attractive?
Yeah, I like the going really far away, like getting a really big frame and then just coming really close into your subject. So like a big push-in, I guess, like a huge dolly move, if that makes any sense.
Yep.
That I always feel is very dramatic to bring something into a scene. Those big, wide, like slider sort of movements across the city, those are always very, very beautiful because all the parallax just... the 360 pan-ups, if that makes any sense.
Where it spins as it goes up?
Around a subject,
Yeah.
and then you're panning the camera down to up, rotating around the subject at the same time.
So
Those are
there's
pretty
definitely
fun.
some complex movements that can be integrated into the shots.
Now, how many people does it take to fly the drone? Is one person flying and the other looking at the shot, or are you both are you just sort of guessing as how the shot works and you look at it later, or are you able to monitor in real time to see if you got the shot you wanted?
We're able to monitor in real time. So it's essentially FPV, first-person video. So we're able to see, basically a live full 1080p stream of what we're looking at. So, for the Phantom, it's a single operator, and typically, you'd want two people for that. So basically, one flying, looking at the footage and the camera. It's really just, the up and down. And then, with the Inspire, you would want, essentially the ideal team would be three people. So it's one controlling the drone, another person controlling the camera, and then a spotter. So that's what you're looking at.
I know you said you do a lot of real estate work, so that's drones hovering over a lot of people's houses, not only the house that you're dealing with. What are the restrictions that you have to deal with?
So the current restrictions on the aircraft, the main thing is keep it under 400 feet. And, a lot of the shots that we obtained, they're low proximity, low altitude. So they're pretty close to the property. We try to, just have respect. A lot of it comes down to common sense to stay away from other people's properties when we're filming and just, focus on the task at hand in order to get the shot, conclude, and move on.
In the end of December, the FAA started requiring registration for drones. I think it was on the 21st of December.
Correct.
What is the registration? And if I remember correctly, 45,000 people signed up to register their drones in about 2.5 to 3 days. Did you guys register, and what's the process like?
So essentially, you put in the information for your drone. We're registered with the FAA. I believe as of January 6th, about 190,000 people have actually went through this registration process. So right now it's pretty much based on an honor system. So it's not like, if you're purchasing a drone online, there's an automatic registration that's set to the FAA. So it is based on an honor system, but it's a very straightforward process. Cost $5. If you got your application in by yesterday, you're refunded the $5, but otherwise it's a simple $5 registration fee. And your drones, it's essentially classified as an experimental aircraft. So
Now, are you registering the drone, or are you registering you?
Both. So, you're registering the drone and, yourself as a pilot, and then you can register up to an unlimited amount of drones, under your name.
Does the drone that you use right now, the DJI, which one I forget what you do, but some of them have software in them that will not allow you to fly them in, say, a state park or any kind of no-fly zone?
Correct. So that was actually implemented on the DJI Phantom 2. So basically it utilizes the GPS technology, inside the drone that it uses, to maintain the stable sense of flight. And then if you're heading into a no-fly zone, you're heading into a temporary no-fly zone. It can be updated at any time. Like, for instance, we're located in San Diego. We are contracted for a job downtown. There's a zone next to Petco Park where you can't fly. So we had to be within a certain proximity away from that. And we were in between that and the airport. So it was a tricky flight, but we were still within, the boundaries. We could, we were able to fly.
How does that work, though? When you get into a no-fly zone, what does it do? Does it stall out the what does it do?
It stops.
Yep.
Does it really?
Yeah.
So it knows exactly where you are, and as you're actually entering it, in some parts it may stop, and then other parts, depending on the zone, getting into that radius, it'll basically control your altitude, so it'll start to descend.
Jeez.
And then it gets close enough, it will stop.
And let's say you're inside of the zone and you want to take off, it won't even start the engines.
Yeah, it
Wow.
won't start the motors. It won't start.
the motors, yeah.
Yeah.
Now, in December, we interviewed a guy named Owen Ouyang who got in trouble for losing control of a drone, which then flew about 800 feet in the air and interfered with a police chase. He says that he lost control of the drone, and it sounds like you don't necessarily believe that.
No, not necessarily. The way it's designed is that if it gets out of range, right? So there's basically a setting, and it's a setting on the app that you use an iPhone or an iPad. It's very clear as you're in the main menu. You can see return to home altitude. So if this drone goes out of signal, it will come back to you, and it's at a specified altitude.
Wow.
The parameters are from 20 meters to 100 meters. So that translates into 60 feet to 300 feet. So anything above that, that was essentially the negligence of the pilot. So that wasn't, it just, oh, I
Magically
lost
goes up and
control.
down.
Yeah, so how it's designed, it loses control. And let's say you're at, 50 feet and you have it set at 100 meters, it'll raise up to 300 feet to avoid obstacles or other terrain. Will hover exactly over you and then descend. So
Are all these restrictions good for you guys, or did you like it when it was like crazy
Wild West.
Western, town type of stuff about a year ago?
Well, for us, the Western style town, it's better for us, per se, for like professionals. But since so many consumers are going into this as a hobby and
Yeah.
doing a bunch of stuff, it's better to be more regulated because it is going to start getting more dangerous. More people are going to start flying. They're going to start hitting stuff. And then the business entirely is probably going to get banned or something like that.
Sure.
So essentially, the FAA is trying to foster a safe community for the drone pilots, and that's what's going on.
Given the number of fires in our area, because we're in LA and you're in San Diego, and the number of drones that have interfered with firefighting, I'm all in favor of restricting the drones because I would like to have the fires get put out
Yeah,
myself.
but we found out a lot of those media reports were bogus. And,
Yeah, but not all of them.
not all of them, but some of them.
And the very interesting thing about the fly zones, DJI is implementing geofencing. So that would essentially be live temporary restrictions. So, if there's a fire or something like that, it could be put out in a, basically a push update the same way it would work on your cell phone. And, as you log on and it gets that GPS signal, if you're within that zone or you're flying close to that zone, it won't let you go near. So it's as simple as that, as implementing those type of things that are temporary. And we'll solve some problems.
One quick question before we run out of time. We have a live chat, and Craig is asking about what insurance is like for drones. What kind of insurance do you need to carry?
So it depends, what type of aircraft you're flying, the value of it. Essentially we have under our policy, it covers, basically you want your general liability, your aggregate policy, and then insurance for the drone itself. So it varies, it could vary from $1,000 a year up to $5,000, $10,000 a year, depending on what you're doing.
Jeez.
So if you're flying over water, if you're doing more intense things, it's on a per-flight basis. There's a lot of different ways to structure it. But there are affordable policies for the average consumer that's looking to protect himself, from a liability standpoint. There's definitely some options.
And guys, for people that want to learn more about what you and your company are up to, where can they go on the web?
You can go to grijalvafilms.com. That's GRIJALVA films.com to stay updated with everything of what we're doing.
And Rob Tharp, the guy on the left, and Carlos Grijalva himself on the right. Gentlemen, thank you so very much for joining us. It's been fun visiting.
Yeah,
Take
thanks,
care.
guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
If you'd like to see more videos like this one, please subscribe to our YouTube channel. To stay connected and receive updates from The Buzz, sign up for our free weekly newsletter now. Or you can learn more about us on our website. And thanks for watching The Digital Production Buzz.